Hey everyone, we are back at the Industry Show Season 2. I'm Nitin Bajaj, and we have with us Noor Merchant, and we are in the beautiful Pocono Mountains here. You can see the amazing lake back here. So, Noor, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's a bit cold, right?
Yes, it is.
Alright, so tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, as Nitin mentioned, I'm Noor Merchant, and he forgot to mention, but we actually went to school together.
We
We
did.
studied through from kindergarten through 12th grade together in Nasik.
Yep. And we've known
Nasik,
each other
India,
for what,
yes, for
34, 35 years now?
something like that.
Something like that.
And
Yeah.
so I grew up in Nasik. It's a small town near Bombay, and it's a small, sleepy town. I had a fairly middle class upbringing. I would say upper middle class, maybe even. I'm very grateful for that. And we went to a convent school, St. Xavier's High School, and I think we got the best education one can ever hope for.
We did.
And after that, so I studied there from kindergarten through 10th grade, and then for 11th and 12th we went to RYK Science College in Nasik. And then after that, I came to the US to do my bachelor's, and I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, and I got a bachelor's in computer science. And then after that, I went to work for Microsoft, and I worked there for about 10 years. And then halfway through my career at Microsoft, I started a business online. I was selling stuff on Amazon as a third-party seller.
Wait, before you go into that,
Okay, sure.
we want to talk more about you.
Okay.
Right? So, what's your favorite sport?
Um, growing up in India, like any other kid, my favorite sport was cricket. But I did play a little bit of table tennis, soccer. But now I'm more into American football. That's the sport I follow. I don't think I can ever
see the
play that.
Seahawks,
Yes,
right? We'll talk more
that's my
about that.
team. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. And do you play any football?
I don't play football. I've actually started running recently, so that's something I picked up about a year back. I just finished a half marathon, and I'm training for a full marathon. So.
Just started running and you just go straight into a half marathon.
It took me a good 6 months, but yeah.
6 months?
Yes.
You make it sound like that's too long. All right. We'll do a quick rapid fire round.
Okay.
You travel a lot.
Yes.
What's your favorite city?
It's hard to pinpoint one. I would say my all-time favorite city is probably Jerusalem.
Okay.
But when it comes to nature, I think I would say Vancouver, Canada is up there. When it comes to culture, I would say Paris.
You have a favorite city for each thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, if I want to enjoy the big city, there's nothing like New York City.
Of course. You're
And,
pretty close. We should go there.
Yes. Maybe tonight.
All right. Sounds like a plan. One most interesting thing you carry around with you.
I usually carry around a children's book with me. I like to read to my daughter. So right now I'm reading this book by a British author called Roald Dahl, and the name of the book is James and the Giant Peach.
James
So
and
you'll
the
always
Giant
find
Peach.
a
Okay.
children's book in my laptop bag.
Interesting. Okay. What was your character growing up? Like, a cartoon character?
I used to enjoy reading the Common Man cartoon in the Times of India. It was one image
R.K.
snippet
Lakshman?
by R.K. Lakshman.
Yeah.
I used to really relate to that. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just he used to get across very important points in a very funny way.
Yeah, like
And,
3 lines and, it
exactly.
just hit the
and
point
it,
home. Yeah.
And it hit hard. A lot of
Yeah.
times he would make a very important point in a
Yeah.
very funny way. So I used to relate to that. I enjoyed reading those.
Great. All right, so we're going to do something which we have never done before.
Okay.
Okay. So you get to be our favorite person.
You mean the guinea pig?
Well, however you want to point it.
All right.
So in a few seconds, we're going to go live, and we're going to go live for about 10 minutes,
Okay.
and we'll power through about 10 questions.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we can go live there. And so, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So, describe Feel Good Apparel in one sentence.
It's a store online on Amazon where you can buy quality merchandise, quality clothing
Mm-hmm.
at an affordable price, backed by Amazon's phenomenal customer service.
Great. So, you have about 40,000 ratings, reviews, lifetime ratings as we call it. But how did Feel Good Apparel start?
Funny thing, it did not start as an apparel store. When I first started selling online, I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew I wanted to sell online, but I wasn't really sure what category I would sell in.
Mm-hmm.
And my very first sale actually was a piece of cutlery set that it was just sitting around at home. And I'm like, okay, let me try selling this. This was about 11 years back. And I took a picture with my digital camera. At that time, we didn't even have phones,
right?
camera
Well,
phones.
Yeah, they weren't any good if they
So
were.
I had a very rudimentary Canon digital camera. I took a picture, I uploaded it on Amazon, and lo and behold, within a day it sold. And I
Nice.
remember the first order went to Yakima, Washington. I still
Oh,
remember
wow.
that, yes.
What was the dollar amount on that?
I sold it for like $9.99.
Nice.
And yeah, and the funny thing was I didn't expect it to sell right away. So I didn't even know how to ship. So that's when I had to
Figured
look
out
into
ship.
exactly, you cross the bridge when you get there. So
Yeah.
okay, I got an order, now I had to figure out how to ship it, and so it was a fun
True
experience.
entrepreneurial way to do it, right?
Absolutely.
Figure it out on the way.
Right.
Great. So, what's your current scope of operation? So you're doing a lot more than China wear, and so what do you sell?
I sell mostly clothing. I do all kinds of clothing, men's, women's,
Mhm.
children. I do a lot of activewear, loungewear. We do some undergarments, lingerie for women. We do swimwear in the summer. It's a very seasonal business,
Right.
so in the summer we do more beachy,
Beachwear,
resorty
yeah.
things, and in the winter we do hats and gloves and
Mhm.
accessories.
I remember back when we met 11 years ago, you're kind of looking at different names for your beachwear. Alki was one of the names. I remember we met in Bombay.
Right.
And
Alki, so the Alki is the name of my private label that I
Oh, it
carry.
is? You still have
Yes.
it?
Yes, I have
Oh.
it, and it was derived from the name of a beach in Seattle.
Yeah.
There was an Alki Beach.
Mhm.
But when I started off, I was selling a lot of beachwear, so I wanted to make it sound a little more beachy, and so I added another I and made it sound Hawaiian.
Yes,
And
I
so yeah, it's a fusion name.
I was one of your guinea pigs at that point.
Were you okay?
Yeah. Okay. So, what kind of technology are you using? I mean, you use Amazon for warehousing, but you also have your own warehouse.
Right. So I am actually right now in the process of looking for an inventory management system. I'm probably going to go with a cloud-based system. Unfortunately, right now it's still pretty rudimentary. All my inventory sits in a spreadsheet, and it works for me for now. But for me to scale up, I think I need something better. So I'm looking for systems there. But for selling, I use Amazon's platform, and it's surprising. You think of Amazon as a retail company.
Mhm.
But it's so much more. It's more of a technology company than a
Yeah.
retail company, and they have incredible set of tools that I really don't need to go anywhere outside. So I mostly use their tool set.
Oh, you had 40,000 reviews. I would think you sold way more than that, which is like almost 5,000 sales a year. I'm just kind of doing the math in my head for that kind of an
A
operation.
lot
That's-
more than that, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So, what drives you? What motivates you?
I would say it's my freedom, my independence. When I had a job, obviously I'm very grateful for it, but I couldn't do a lot of things I can do now. Like, for example, just take a day off and show
Mhm.
up in the Poconos.
Yeah, and
Like,
just
exactly.
lake out. Yeah,
Right. So
Okay.
I think that's probably the biggest motivating factor for me: the independence and the freedom that I get with running my own business. It has its own challenges too, but
ups and downs, and
of course,
yeah,
but
so
it keeps life exciting.
that's how it should be. How does your Indian ethnicity and upbringing impact you and your business?
I don't think it's the ethnicity; it's just growing up in India that
Yeah,
has
the culture and the
right.
vibe.
Yeah, I think it's greatly benefited me. The whole jugaad mentality.
Yeah.
The whole hacking things.
The hustler.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, you try something and you get to a point and you figure out, okay, this is how I solve the problem, and then you move on to the next point. No problem is too big.
Right.
That's one thing that it has taught me.
Nothing is going to stop you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's problems that come up every day, and you just try to break them down into smaller problems and then tackle
Work
them.
around them
So,
and-
yeah. So that has definitely helped me. But I would say also part of our culture that has sometimes held me back is our mentality of being the yes sir person.
Yeah.
It sometimes holds you back. It
Mhm.
doesn't make you challenge authority.
Question,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, something that I have learned to grow out of
Mhm.
over the years. But that's something that I think a lot of Indians in general.
Restrains people around.
Right.
Okay. Uh, Difference in the times that you, the ones that you have succeeded and the times when you have not succeeded as much.
Um, so in my business, I have to make a lot of decisions about what inventory I carry.
Mhm.
And it's a very fashion trend
Right.
focused industry,
And
and things
seasonal.
change.
Yeah.
Very seasonal, and things change a lot. And previously, when I started in my early years, I used to buy merchandise based on my taste. And over the years, I realized that's not necessarily the best thing to do, because I would say, oh, this color looks great, this style looks great, let's go buy this.
On
And then
you.
I would sit on it for months and it wouldn't sell. And you are emotionally attached to it,
Right.
and it's not necessarily a good thing in business. And
Yeah.
then over the years, I learned, let's try a bunch of things and then let the market decide.
Right. And then you know where to go
Right.
based on that.
Exactly.
Okay. Have you ever had a coach or a mentor?
I've had quite a few, actually. I've been
Mhm.
lucky in that space. I've
How
had
do you find them?
I just look around. I look at people who've been successful,
Mhm.
people who always keep themselves busy, and who are driven. I have a very good friend. His name is Shabir. He also
Yeah.
does similar thing on Amazon. He also sells clothing,
I
actually.
remember talking.
He's
to him.
one of my
Yeah.
big competitors, but we
You
learn
grow
a lot.
together. Yeah.
Exactly, we learn a lot from each other's mistakes, and
Mhm.
he's always there for me. He's been one of my greatest mentors when it
Mhm.
comes to business, also in life. And then I have my immediate family, my father.
Mhm.
I learned how to be farsighted from him.
Mhm.
My mother, I learned how to be patient from her.
And you were not referring to your glasses, right? When you said farsighted.
No, 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 no. And another big mentor in my life is my brother, who's taught me how to be nimble and agile.
Mhm.
He's somebody who's done a lot of different businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, he started off as an engineer, he taught in a college, he ran a Subway restaurant, then he got into day trading.
And now he's
And
growing cherries, right?
He's now into cherry farming, and he runs a hedge fund. I mean, you name it, he's done
Yeah.
it. So, he's taught me how to, never get stuck in life and
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing guy. We're talking about Tahir. Yeah. Uh, what are you most excited about right now at this point in life?
just the world of fashion, the world of technology, things moving
Mm-hmm.
so rapidly. I mean, it's also scary at times. It's exciting, but it's also very scary. Sometimes you feel like, oh, you're getting old. You see teenagers doing all these things on the apps, and you're like, what? And 10 years back, it used to be me.
Yeah.
Being in that
So you're
spot,
struggling
and
with
now,
Snapchat and
something like that. Yeah, but just this field of technology. The way technology is changing life. Like,
Yeah.
just yesterday we were coming here, and last minute something happened and we didn't get a ride, and it literally took me 30 seconds to book a car on the Orbitz app. So I mean, that was phenomenal.
Pretty
And I
amazing.
even
Yeah.
mentioned it to my friend.
Yep.
I'm like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So,
All right. So we want to keep it on 10 minutes. A philosophical and a practical suggestion or advice for other entrepreneurs out there.
don't be afraid to take risks.
Mhm.
But take calculated risks. Do some
Don't be
research.
stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
But also, a lot of times you don't really know where the future is gonna take you.
Right.
But don't let that stop
So
you.
just venture out and
Venture out, try different things, and also learn to cut your losses at the right time.
Right.
It's something you will learn over time. There's no
like you
easy
said,
way.
don't get emotional about it.
Don't get
Just-
emotional.
yeah.
Yeah, when you see something's not working, just move on and try something else.
Cool. All right. So we'll continue this conversation on the other side. If you want to watch the full video, join us on facebook.com/The Industry Show. See you guys. All right. So we're going to continue this conversation. If you had to start all over again, would you go back to Microsoft and start there, or would you just jump in and do your own thing?
Knowing what I know now, definitely I'd continue doing what I'm doing. But I would not. I don't regret my time spent at Microsoft at all. Actually, I
You picked up
learned a
of
lot.
skills,
I learned
yeah.
a lot of skills that I was totally clueless
Mhm.
about. I learned how to manage people. I learned
Right.
how to juggle multiple responsibilities at the same time, and
Work in a team. be
work in a team.
yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway I got was basically, how do you deal with different personalities?
Right.
because and I have to do that with my employees, with my vendors.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose.
Yeah,
They come as they come.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And initially, I struggled a little bit with it. I
Mhm.
used to micromanage, and then, as time went by, I learned, let people be themselves.
Yeah.
Empower them, and then also acknowledge them when they do
Right.
something good. And
Let them make the mistakes and then be
yes,
patient to allow them to do
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
Which can be hard, right? As
It's
a
it's
small
very hard.
business,
It's
yeah.
very hard. Yeah, I mean, it's you when you start off, you want to control everything, and then
You know the right way to do everything, and then you want to make
exactly,
sure. That,
exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing that used to be Microsoft's motto was empowering people, enabling people, and that's very true. You teach people, you don't just tell them how to do it, but you tell them why you do it this way, and then that really makes them understand, and then that way you eliminate mistakes.
And sometimes I have seen is it, you you have a certain way of getting there, but somebody else might have a different way, but
Yes.
they'll still get there the same.
Yeah, and you have to be open to ideas.
Right.
I've also learned a lot from my employees. Sometimes they show me better ways of doing things, and so you have to have an open mind.
Cool. Well, I had this question, you kind of half answered it, but any specific other skills that you picked up at Microsoft that have helped you in this journey?
I remember I was very lucky. I had great bosses at
Mhm.
Microsoft. I learned a lot from them, and one of the key things I learned was how to keep people motivated. And especially in my field of work, a lot of the work is like just monotonous, labor intensive, sorting of clothing, and it can bog you down. You get tired of it quickly.
Right.
And to keep people motivated, you acknowledge their good work every now and then, surprise them with something. It's the little things that you do.
Right.
Ask them about their family.
Just connect with them.
Yeah, connect with them at a
Yeah.
personal level and make them feel a part of your organization.
Right.
I think that's very important. That's something I learned from Microsoft.
Any bad things you learned at Microsoft that you regret? As in an enterprise, there are too many comforts, I would say.
I don't think so. No. I'm sure I can't think of anything right now. Yeah.
Okay. Do you invest in other startups or entrepreneurs?
I don't invest as in monetarily,
Mhm.
but I do love to spend time with people who
Like
approach me.
mentoring
I've had a
them.
lot of people come up to me and ask me, I need to do something. I want to do something. Can you
Mhm.
guide me? And I love doing that. I think I invest with my time in people. I'm not there yet where I can invest with my money, but I do enjoy mentoring people. And when I see somebody who wants to do something but they're not really sure how they
Mhm.
should go about it, I see a younger myself in them.
Yeah.
So it really excites me. So
Yeah, and money is only going to take them that much further.
right.
But it's-
And I've had a couple of people who I've maybe talked to maybe 4 or 5 years back, and then
Mhm.
they went on to do something, but they always remember that one. They're like, oh, I do appreciate that half an hour you spent with me.
Right.
And so it's a fulfilling.
It's more valuable to
experience.
them than just the money.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You build a bond over that process too.
Are you spirited or spiritual or religious?
I would say I'm more spiritual now than I am religious.
So which means you kind of differentiate. Like I don't even know for a long time.
I
knew-
now I do now
Yeah.
I do. Religion, I consider it more as following certain rituals and doing
Right.
things a certain way and
Because
going to a
someone
certain
says so,
place.
yeah.
Exactly. And I grew up in a fairly religious environment,
Mhm.
but over the years I've opened my mind, and I still practice my faith, but
Right.
it's very personal to me and between me and
because
God.
you
and
know and because
Yes.
you believe in it.
Yes, I believe in it,
Right.
but I don't expect everyone else to hold the same beliefs, and that's
Right.
perfectly okay. I have become more spiritual. I try to go behind the meaning of things, meaning of why we do certain things, as to just how we do it, and so that's become more important. And that's
Is running kind of your extension to your spirituality?
not really. It was just to kill some time.
Just a physical.
And I was
effort.
growing fat, so yeah, I had to lose some weight.
What are your thoughts on philanthropy?
I think we all should do as much as we can. A
Mhm.
lot of people think of philanthropy in terms of donating, giving back. I mean, that's obviously a good thing, but I feel you can be philanthropic at a very personal level
Yeah.
without having much.
Mhm.
And one way I can see people being people giving back is give back your time to, if you know any seniors who live alone,
Yeah.
go help them out. Maybe once a week just go have tea with them, maybe go do their groceries for them. I mean, for you it's probably not going too much out of your way because
Right.
you're gonna go do your thing anyways.
Yeah.
But to them, it means the world, you know,
Yeah.
because a lot of
True.
people, you know, they live alone, and I know people who don't see others for weeks at a time.
And just doing groceries sounds so menial to us, but to them it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's there goes half my day, and they have to plan 2 days.
Right,
ahead.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
And you also mentioned about helping out other entrepreneurs, which I would think is philanthropical also.
yeah, I mean, I try to do my best. You
Yeah.
know, and one thing that my faith has taught me is, you know, you are going to get what you've been destined for.
Yes.
So nobody's going to snatch anything
Right.
from your plate.
And you're not
So
going
you-
to get any bonuses either.
Exactly. I mean, you work hard obviously for
Yeah.
it, but you know, others are going to get what they're destined to get. You're going to get what you're going to. And in
Everybody
fact,
has their
the more
share.
you help others,
Yeah.
you might even get more. That's
Right.
what our belief is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Grow the pot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not the pot, but.
Yeah, I don't live in the state of Washington anymore. So
So you went to school in Chicago, and then you came back and you lived there, but you're still a Seahawks fan. What's going on with that?
you know, I really got into football when I was in Seattle. It has a
Mhm.
strong football culture, that city, and you know, they went to a Super Bowl when I was there, and
True.
you know, I really got attached to it.
It's the
And
memories that came with it.
It's the memories, and we had a great time, you know, watching the games there, and you know, the city is absolutely nuts about their team
Yeah.
right now. We have a great coach. We won a Super Bowl. We went to another one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was in Chicago when all that happened, but I still very much celebrated. And yeah, it's just you know, it's just something that connects me back to Seattle.
So you're hoping your luck will favor the Chicago team now, and you'll bring the.
I don't really care about the Bears now.
All right. On that note, well, thanks for taking the time, and this has been amazing.
Absolutely,
So-
yeah. Thanks for having me here. It's an honor.
Great.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.